This is News Radio 1400 AM and 94.3 FM KELD, El Dorado. We interrupt our regular scheduled programming for this special broadcast. The El Dorado City Council is held every second Thursday of each month. This broadcast of the El Dorado City Council will be available as a podcast and will be posted online tomorrow at accessarcla.com. You can also view the live broadcast streaming on accessarcla.com right now. We now join the El Dorado City Council meeting.
I'd like to introduce here in just a second, but let's go ahead and call the roll and get this meeting started.
David Hurst.
Here.
Frank Cash.
Present.
Vance Williamson. Judy Ward. Here. Willie McGee.
Present.
Roy Bullock. Buddy McAdams.
Here.
And Diane Hammond. Here.
Okay. We have with us tonight Elijah Jackson. Mr. Jackson, if you'll step up the mic, I'll do a quick introduction, and then you can let folks know what's going on. Mr. Jackson is the outreach specialist with the Arkansas Black Mayors Association. And if you've been making many of these meetings, you know that we have been involved in a watershed study going on with the engineering firm of Freese and Nichols, which it's about a $650,000 project that's going on. And Mr. Jackson, just let them know what you came to tell us.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. Good afternoon, council members of the community. I'm here once again. My name is Elijah Jackson. I am the outreach specialist for the Arkansas Black Mayors Association, and I'm here just to simply introduce myself, just for you all that are aware of the watershed, what's going on, and if you want contact information, I'm the person basically to provide that information for you. Here to announce tonight that we are having a meeting here on July 30th at 5 o'clock p.m., so give you more updated of where you stand at this point in time with the watershed and things like that. So you'll have the engineering people like that that answer a lot of the major questions. But in the meantime, if for whatever reason you have questions, comments, or concerns, have a piece of property or something that you want us to take a look at, I leave my contact information here at the front desk along with a couple of flyers for anybody that's interested. You can go to the website and take a look at the flyer to find out where you actually stand in this process and things like that. So I'm simply here just to introduce myself, let you know I am the outreach person for the area. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to take a call and feel free to call me at any time.
I have one question.
Come right ahead, sir.
The last meeting, I can't think of the guys, they was here when they had to set up the maps and stuff, and they actually said that if during the process, if you actually locate other areas that need to be added to it, yes, that wouldn't be a problem. Is that still the way we can do it?
Yes, from my understanding it is, yes, sir.
Yeah, because I have been riding around Mayor Career, ourselves, we did a cleanup with Miss Spivey, and it's some areas over there in that Douglas area I don't think on the list. I think I rode around with Mr. Edmonds the other day and showed it, so maybe we can add them streets to the list.
Yes, when it gets to the point, I guess, to the alternative phases of it, and for some areas that may be identified in that nature, if they can be included in the plan, I'm assuming that could be done.
Yes.
Once again, I could leave my contact information. I'll be more than willing to come back down. We set up something and you can show me those areas.
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
Maybe we can get Mayor Career also to help us out with that.
So she wouldn't have a problem with that.
Appreciate you.
I'm sorry? Yes, here in El Dorado and some of the surrounding areas.
The meeting will be in the council chambers.
Yes. Outside there. Thank you once again, Mayor.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Okay, moving on. We have the minutes from our May 9th meeting. They've been provided for your review.
Motion to approve.
Second. Madam Clerk.
Judy Ward. Aye. Willie McGee.
Aye.
Buddy McAdams.
Aye.
Frank Cash.
Aye.
Diane Hammond.
Aye.
And David Hurst.
Aye. Okay. Fifth thing on our agenda is unfinished business. We have the second reading of the Sports Complex Commission ordinance to be handled tonight. If you would, Mr. Attorney.
I have some input first, if we may. Been in touch with Mr. Burbank, the county's attorney, legal representative, and just to make the council aware, this the way this ordinance forms this board, I'm being advised, is not acceptable to the county.
Excuse me, Mayor. On what part? What part
Because this ordinance amends an ordinance where we established a city commission, and so on a city commission, all the commissioners appointed to that commission are brought by the mayor to the council to be approved. And I'm being told that is not acceptable.
Can I also comment on this? In that ordinance, and Mr. Rush and I spoke earlier, there's other things that need to be added to that because right now, the commissioners that are in place, all their terms expire in January. And so we need to establish where in the ordinance that there's 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year terms or whatever terms that need to be in there. And and then there was, what was some of the other stuff that we had mentioned? It was that
was the main thing is that my understanding from what I'm being told is the county does not want to make recommendations to then be brought before the council to be appointed to this commission. They want to have control of their appointments, which puts us back to more of an interlocal agreement, not a joint agreement whereby they're contributing funds and the city is in exclusive control of the complex. And so that's not really what this, like I say, to my understanding, this ordinance will not satisfy the county as to how the commission is established. So this ordinance is before the council, though. It's y'all's discretion as to what you do.
Well, if they're not going to pass it, we don't need to vote on it.
Well, my thought on this is that we're representing the city, and I think we need to look at this very seriously because the city owns the land. We have a board that's acting out there now. I know that Mr. Nail worked really hard in the complex board to hire Miss Alex, and we've hardly given her a chance. And then all of a sudden take the board that's out there, the complex board, and we're bickering over how to reconstruct it. I think that we haven't given her a chance, Miss Alex out there, to manage this facility. And it just becomes, every time we get together, more convoluted. And at whose best interest are we looking at?
Well, I mean, one thing we have to look at, the way I understand it, if the county doesn't do this, they're not going to support what they've been supporting with the $100,000.
Well, there was 1 year they didn't give the $100,000. They subtracted.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Without this agreement that they're okay with, they're not going to be willing to do their $100,000 nor anything else.
Well, are we going to let that handcuff us? I mean, we're representing the city of El Dorado. We've all been hired by the electorate of El Dorado.
The city of El Dorado, but we're also, that is a county.
But we're not working for the county.
But wasn't it one of the original agreements, what we talked about earlier, that when we went to the 9, that the city would get 5 and the county would appoint 4?
And that's what he's telling us right now, that they're not in favor of.
They're okay with that. They're just not okay with them not being able to appoint their 4.
Well, why don't y'all just go to them and ask them to write the ordinance for us then?
Okay.
It seems, no, I'm being facetious. It seems like they're dictating where the city's going.
But I thought that's what it was. The quorum court, the judge would appoint 4 for the quorum for the county, and the mayor would appoint 5 for the city. That's the way I understand. That's what we talked about earlier.
Of course, the way this ordinance is worded is that this commission is a city commission. It says that 4 members will be appointed in consultation with the county, attempting to give that input from the county for those 4 positions. What I'm being told is that is not satisfactory. Being able to make a recommendation that then comes before this council. They want to appoint 4 members by the quorum court and the county judge. Well, this ordinance addresses a city commission, not reforming some joint commission.
Well, the city owns the property, and the city is responsible, and it always goes well over a $200. If they're going to pay $100,000, well, it's way over $200,000, and we pay the balance.
I'm not at all in disagreement with you, Ms. Ward, and I'm not necessarily advocating for this. I'm just attempting to explain.
Well, I just think it's really gotten out of control.
You're saying that we don't need their $100,000.
Well, if we're not going to be in control, and they think that the city's going to buckle down and do what they want us to do, we've done it before.
Okay. Well, the big problem was when the Boys Club ran, all we talked about were over budget, where we're going to come up with the money. When I suggested putting a capital line item in, and Vance said, well, you and Diane find out in the budget where y'all can come up with it, so how are we going to come up with $100,000?
Well, I think that we've not given the new manager a chance. I mean, that's the whole purpose of having her out there.
Well, I think she's doing a good job.
Well, I do too, and we're getting ready to just totally upset with what she's doing.
Involved in that.
Well, she'll be working with this board.
Well, get the board straightened out. She's still out there working.
Well, you don't understand what I'm saying. I mean, she's working with. Give her a chance.
Who's not giving her a chance?
But when you totally change the board, then you're changing what's going on right now. And I think they've done a good job.
Keep rolling on and rolling on.
You're right.
Judge Lofton will be back here Monday, and if the primaries can't get together and come up with a simple agreement, then we are out of control.
Mayor.
I've talked to him twice today, and he says he's not heard from the mayor or anything. Just the paper gets sent over, and there's no talking, no working out fine points or nothing else, and he's not going to go for it.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
right now, the people that are on the board, there are 3 that are county residents. There are 2 that are city residents. So with that in mind, if we kept the same ones on there and then added the other 3, there's already 3 county residents on there. So the judge would appoint 1 more, and you would appoint 3. And anybody that has been on that board, and I've been on it before, and others on the council have been on it before, the reason you're on there is for the complex. It's not who's going to dictate what's going on. It's not going to be the county in charge. It's not going to be the city in charge. It's going to be for what's best for that complex and our community. And we keep going back and forth about who's going to be in control. I don't see that. I see a group of people that are passionate about the complex, and they want it to work.
I agree.
And so I would ask for Mr. Russian to get with Mr. Burbank and work out an agreement similar to what is in place, where the county has the 4, and the judge can appoint the 4, the mayor can appoint the 5, and each one have their quorum court and their city council approve the appointments. That's what I would ask.
Very good. We've had conversation. In fact, we had a conversation today, right before I called you. Of course, and we can explore this further when we go back to more of an interlocal agreement. Of course, the real estate, the structures out there are clearly city property, but then future personal items, mowers and whatnot, it gets a little less clear. That will also have to be addressed in the agreement as to what happens when that agreement goes south. Like the original agreement lasted for decades.
Right.
Until it was done away with and everything was turned over to the city to run. And now they say that I'm being told they're not okay with the city being the one running it.
Well, looks like you got some work cut out for you.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. So there will not be a second reading. If I'm hearing everything we will move on. We have new business to come before us. Okay, we have a condemnation list to be brought forth, and I believe you have that in front of you, sir.
I think so. Whereas there are numerous dwellings in the city of El Dorado that are public nuisances, said locations and owners being more particularly described as followed to wit, legal description, see attached copy, enclosed street address. May also be known as 410 West 19th, 412 West 19th, owner GUICE Lester, 908 Maplewood, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, unsanitary, unsafe. Legal description, see attached copy, enclosed, street address. May also be known as 1307 Rock Island, owner Boyette Janet, P.O. Box 11077, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, unsafe, dilapidated. Street address may also be known as 1108 South B Avenue, owner McCain Hattie, co-owner James Thomas, 509 Sunset Road, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address may also be known as 609 West Main, owner New Boston Enterprises, 699 Heritage Oaks, Texarkana, Texas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsanitary. Street address may also be known as 1705 Southwest Avenue, owner McLean Pauline, 1705 Southwest Avenue, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 2011 East Cook, owner Lee James, 700 Short Wilson, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 531 West Grove, owner Green Robin, 2820 North College, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 1316 East Sharp, owner Caber Doris, 1316 East Sharp, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 1900 East Faulkner, owner Mason Glenn, 1900 East Faulkner, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 406 West Grove, owner Jones Paula J., 1615 West Hundley Huffman Estate, Illinois. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 1119 North Miles, owner Woolsey Bill, 1119 North Miles, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 1120 Pine Street, owner Dawkins James, 4121 St. Andrews Road, Oakland, California. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 220 Nevada, owner Brown Zerline, 147 Bailey Drive, DeSoto, Texas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 608 Cordell, owner Restel Kendall, 521 South Mill Street, Wolf's Scythe, Texas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 1705 Southwest Avenue, owner McLean Pauline, 1705 Southwest Avenue, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 1103 South Washington, owner Lorendo Barbardo, 1103 South Washington, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 920 East Main, 922 East Main, owner Cross Donna, 920 East Main, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address 1316 East Sharp, owner Caver Doris, 1316 East Sharp, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address, 1119 North Miles, owner Woolsey Bill, 1119 North Miles, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address, 706 Harold, owner Thurman Jamie, 706 Harold, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address, 1228 South Washington, owner James, Tennessee, 1228 South Washington, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address, 616 North Parkway, owner Newton Dawsey, P.O. Box 20084, Whitehall, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address, 1705 Southwest Avenue, owner McLean Pauline, 1705 Southwest Avenue. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address, 717 South Murphy, owner Butler Crystal, 1304 Martin Luther King, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address, 715 Russell, owner Fargus James, 715 Russell, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address, 1705 Southwest Avenue, owner McLean Pauline, 1705 Southwest Avenue. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Street address, 1309 East Cedar, owner Willis Ruby, 900 East M, El Dorado, Arkansas. Reason for removal, dilapidated, obnoxious, unsafe. Whereas Fire Marshal and the Code Enforcement Division for the City of El Dorado, Arkansas have determined that the above listed dilapidated and vacant structures constitute a fire and health hazard and are unsightly or unsafe due to abandonment or neglect. The structures are deemed detrimental to the health and safety of the citizens of the City of El Dorado. Said structures shall be declared nuisances and condemned by resolution of the City Council of the City of El Dorado, Arkansas, and then removed pursuant to Section 7-341, etc. of the Code of Ordinances. Whereas the City of El Dorado has given 30 days notice to the owners listed above and attempted to notify owners by certified mail addressed to the last known address in compliance with state law and city ordinances within which said nuisances are to be removed by having mailed a true copy of these correspondences and posting for 30 days on said property for those houses with notices that have come back undeliverable. The structures may be removed immediately. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of El Dorado, Arkansas, that the houses at the addresses and locations mentioned herein above be and hereby are condemned and declared to be nuisances to the City of El Dorado, Arkansas, and authority to proceed to remove said nuisances is granted.
Move to pass the resolution.
Question, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
of Mr. Craig. There's no one living in any of these structures there. Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Somebody here living, Mr. Watt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, there's some duplications here that, okay, that shouldn't make any difference, correct?
They're on there more than once. They're double condemned, I guess.
All right.
That's when I thought, I think there was some part, I think I done read that one. Did I get my pages mixed up? But they were right.
Can I just ask a question real quick before you I know.
But hang on, do we have a motion and a second?
We only have a motion.
We have a motion.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Discussion.
Okay. One of the problems we seem to have, that when the houses get condemned and tore down, the lots is really left messy with the neighbors who live next door to them lots. Can we make sure that whoever tear the houses down, I don't know whoever got the contract, make sure that they pick up the litter, and I mean, I don't want to several people home that have called me after the house tore down. Had one guy, house got damaged, another one, they just left stuff piled up. And it was really, I mean, if the house is an eyesore, we don't want to make the lot an eyesore. And I think we ought to have some type of plan to actually make sure that these houses, that this list we got, that these houses don't turn into eyesores. And I just hope we do a better job with when we get the people to tear them down to kind of clean up.
May I speak to your
Yes, I
statement?
just want.
One of the things we have had that problem in the past, and I discussed that at some length with Mr. Edmonds, and we're finding the jobs being done today seem to be much cleaner. I've gone out and inspected several of them myself, and they are to the point where you can plant grass on them. So yeah, we heard and not trying to make a redundant statement, but I've heard you say this before, and I appreciate it, Mr. McGee.
And I have called Mr. Edmonds numerous times about people complaining about the lots being cleaned up, and he have took care of it. Even Mr. Kirby have went to check on
and
a couple of lots.
Mr. Craig does go out and inspect after the demolition.
I have called him, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
Before we vote, number 2, it should be ROCK, R-O-C-K, and not R-O-C-L, to make that correction.
If you'll send me the resolution, I can make all the corrections.
If we're going to do that, there is another one.
I've already marked
You found it?
I'm marked.
City. Got it. We're good. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, Madam Clerk.
Diane Hammond.
Aye.
Judy Ward. Aye. Buddy McAdams.
Aye.
Frank Hash.
Aye.
Willie McGee.
Aye.
And David Hurst.
Okay, moving on. We are now down to the point of other business, and Mr. McGee called a little earlier and said he's got a couple of things he needs to bring forth.
Yes, I have Reverend Weedo and Reverend Hayes here. Reverend Weedo wanted to talk about, if you don't mind, Rev, could you come up he has something going on. Reverend Weedo had run the gym over there by Maddox Park, but he also had ran the blue buses in this community for, 40 years, Rev? So he's a big part of this community, helping out kids and making sure those who are less fortunate get the same opportunities and enjoyment that the other kids who can afford it. So Rev has something he wants to share with us real quick.
Pass a picture around, if that's okay to the council. We have the summer programs called Character First at the old James Johnson Gymnasium at Maddox Park. We've had this program for 23 years. And we've done a lot of improvements. The old building there was a fixer-upper, and we've got it fixed up, and it's got central heat and air now. You'd be real proud. It's really a community success story. Atkins Electric did the outside electrical work. Evers Electric did the inside electrical work. We've redone the floors. We've repainted. We got LED lighting, and it's unbelievable. It's air-conditioned, so it's central heat and air in the gym. Longs blowpipe, fabricated ductwork. I mean, so it's a lot of communities. Jerry Rainwater back in the day went through and replaced all our plumbing. And so anyway, just a lot of different things. It gets used really like a multi-purpose center because we do family reunions for people that grew up in that neighborhood. And so we have a bunch of those in the summertime. They have their meet and greets on Friday night and a reunion on Saturday. So we love the Lord and we love people, okay? And I've been here 32 years of my life, and my aunt was a nurse here, and I came here and got burdened. We started our church in our home with 14 people, and I've been here 32 years. I'll be buried here. My heart is here. Y'all are serving our community as leaders in the community. I've been serving the Lord here as a spiritual, in the spiritual realm, but we're reaching boys and girls. I want to pass this picture around. This happened Monday. We had Stella Refinery was there with some ladies on each end, and they're one of our sponsors, and you can pass it around there. And then I also have a frame picture I want to give to Willie, because Willie's my buddy, and we're in his ward, and so I want to give him that picture. But we had 72 on Monday, and today we had 77 boys and girls that come. And then I want to give y'all a brochure, just a Character First brochure.
I got one the other day.
You got one? Okay, good. And then you got one of the boys?
Yes, I did.
Okay, you got that one too? I'm going to give you a couple different pictures here. That's okay. You got that one?
Same.
Okay. Mr. Mayor. Just kind of really came by to just let y'all know what we got going on, and we started from scratch, and we're still scratching out of Bible Baptist. But we had a boy in our Christian school that got killed out on the highway, and we have needs with our Character First program, and then we have needs with our church. We're building a new gymnasium in memory of a boy named Austin Owens. Austin got killed out on the bypass, and Austin came from a troubled home, but we were able to reach him for the Lord, and God changed his life, and we didn't know, but anyway, he got killed in that car wreck. He was my grandson's best friend. My grandson wrote a song about Austin, and if we ever helped a little boy, we helped that boy. And so glad he's in heaven today because he knew Jesus as his Savior. But we're building a gymnasium. His family left some money to help us get started with the project. We've got 23 acres of property. We're debt-free. And I've given my life to our community, so I'm trying to get the word out because we're going to do it debt-free, so we need some help. That means you've got to get your billfold out or your checkbook out. The Bible says you have not because you ask not. So anyway, I just want everybody to know what's going on, and 100% of the people that don't know ain't going to get anything. But I'm not Jewish, but I like to get the best deal I can, so I want everybody to get some skin in the game and help us out if you can. Amen. And that'll be a blessing, and we love you all. Thank God for you. Amen. Somebody asked me, this is Pastor Weedo, what are you building a building for? You're 63 years old. I said, I'm not building a building for me. I'm building for future generations if the Lord tarries is coming.
Come on now.
And we're building a building for the glory of God. And I know people say, well, I know that a redheaded preacher, he's just a country boy. They say, he didn't do that, God did that, so we want God to get the glory for building our building. So I don't know how to do the building. That's why we're building ours. Thank y'all, we love y'all. And I'm sure you've probably seen these little green ones around town. But I'll give you one more little card. They say an informed people is a happy people.
Come on now.
And my wife, we've been married 44 years, and we have 13 grandbabies and one great grandbaby. And for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And
I'll swap you.
Okay, thank you. He's catching on, isn't he? Lord. And he's pass the hat, amen.
Pass the hat.
They say the two biggest lies is the preacher and in closing, and the check is in the mail. Anyway, I got to
That's not in the mail. That's in your hand.
That's in my hand. Yeah, no, it goes with anything, doesn't it? Thank you all.
But I gotta say, Reverend, we all have worked in all areas of this community and have asked for a dime and probably have gave more than he have asked for. And I mean, he have blessed a lot of families with homes, food, vehicles, schools. I mean, have been a great power in this community, and he loved people, and he loved God.
Okay. Pastor Weedo, who actually owns that facility?
Okay, here we go again. The county owns it. Yeah, it's back in the day. The county owned it, so our landlord
Still public property.
Yeah, and our landlord is Mike Lofton, and we do the utilities, and he doesn't have any money budgeted for it or anything like that, but we've done 38 different projects, and we refinish the floors every year. It's amazing, really. I'd like for the council to come over and see it. I'd love for you to come and see it while the kids are there, because the kids give that old building life. It's just no fixer-upper, but you put 77 kids in there, and it's alive.
As long as it's public property, consider us to come to us for things.
Okay.
Also, Rev, when we had the Southeast Junior that we worked the boys club, when I ran the boys club,
right.
We worked a lot together. And we still work together.
Yeah, and these ladies, I mean, there's a lot of people in here that know who I am and all that, but anyway, we just love the Lord and preach the Bible and just kind of old school, but it's a blessing to be able to help people, and we've got 9 men out of our church now that are pastoring, little boys that grew up in our community that are pastoring in other parts of, all over, really. They're scattered. We got one guy in Philly. He started 2 churches in the inner city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He used to be a bartender at Applebee's and all off into drugs, and God changed his life. And I'm a preacher. I got all kinds of stories. I'm a storyteller. They are, yeah. Historic District working on getting us a grant because the old James Johnson building is old enough to be in that category. So, yeah. But anyway,
Appreciate you.
I'm easing on. We got Vacation Bible School. Had 101 last night at Vacation Bible School. So Got a lot of little boys and girls out there, so I'm going to head that way if y'all will excuse me.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Reverend Hayes. Could you?
Good evening. Certainly to the mayor, to the board today. I just want to thank God for allowing me to be here and to have this space. My concern is that something happened and we didn't expect it to happen. First of all, my name is Pastor Herman Hayes. I pastor here in the city. Been pastoring in this city for about 17 years. Also pastored in Magnolia. Been there for about 35 years. My wife, mother's house, was located in what they call the Morning Star Edition, 2728 Ford Street. And we had heard that it had been condemned, hadn't got any information, hadn't got any letters, hadn't got any notification of any kind. So we went to, my wife and I believe is Mr. Kirby, and let him know that we heard that the house had been condemned. But we had a plan. My wife's mother was a lady that believed in prayer. And it was kind of ironic when I was dating my wife. I thought I was coming over there to date her, but when I got there, her mother always put us on our knees to pray. And so after her passing and her dad passing, we decided how good would it be to make this house out of a house of prayer, where we could just come in and pray and have a prayer meeting there in that little area, because everybody knew Miss Noisily Terrell. That was her mother's name, father's name, Willie Terrell. And that's what we wanted to do. And so we went up and told Mr. Kirby that we wanted to fix the house up. To me, it wasn't real bad. It set off the road. We kept the lawn mowed. You could go by there any time, wouldn't see no grass up. We kept it up. The lawn, the house needed work, and so we told him what we wanted to do. He said, go ahead. And we started working. Now, mind you now, we didn't have money to just do an overhaul job right away. But we did a little alone. And like I said, I have pictures here from my wife's mother-in-law's house to some things we did to it. And so time moved on, and we were still doing little things to it. And of course, there wasn't any lights. And we called some electricians because they said the meter loop was too low. You had to be the meter loop up above the house, above the eave, in order to get some lights on. And so we did that. We contacted a few electricians. And I also told the mayor this. I called the mayor when we found out the house had been torn down. And I told him how much we had did to the house. We hadn't been long, renovated the porch, put a brand new porch on the house, put a brand new deck on the house, put a brand new top on the house. And I have the pictures here when it wasn't a brand new top, when it wasn't a brand new deck. And I also have pictures here where that top had been done and how 2 decks had been done. And so you can take a look at them if you would like to. A few months ago, we got a letter, certified letter, that had her dad's name on it, Mr. Willie Terrell. And as you know, they won't let you sign for anybody else's mail if you're not that person, and of course we wouldn't do that anyway. It's not right to forward someone else's name when they are deceased. And so my wife went to the post office and she asked, was there any other way that she could receive the mail? It was certified. And so she said no. The lady at the post office said she could not get it. We went again to talk to Mr. Kirby, and we let him know that we could not, my wife and I, we were together, and we let him know that we could not get the mail. Is there anything in that letter that we need to know? This is our ask. We asked him this. Is there anything in the letter that we need to know? We still want to. We're still working on the house. We still want it to be a house of prayer dedicated to her mother. Anything in that letter that we need to know? He said, no. Go ahead and continue to do what you're doing. And that's what we done. And it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to learn that it had been torn down. We put a lot of money in that and time because we thought that we had the okay and it was good to go ahead and renovate the house. Since I could not get an electrician to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, I went and bought me a generator so that we could work on the inside like I wanted to work on the inside to fix it up. It was going to be like a church per se, but in a small scale that you can come in, pray, have Bible study in that area because that's what my mother-in-law was known for. And it blew me away because I take people at their word. If you tell me something, I take you for what you say. You know, I just believe people are honest. I believe if you tell me something, I believe I can go to bed with it. I just believe that. And so it was devastating to us to learn that our house had been torn down. And we had no clue. My wife's name is on the deeds. And her dad, she didn't take her dad's name off the deeds just because she loved her parents. But I know they had our address because we got a certified letter to 416 Georgia Street with his name on it. And I know if they were going to tear that, I heard somebody say you're supposed to give a 30-day notice. We didn't get any notice. And I know they could have sent the letter in care of my wife. When we went there, they couldn't get the certified letter and wanted to know if there's anything we could do or anything on the letter that we needed to know. And he said, no, just go ahead and do what you're doing. We said, okay. We forgot about it. We went on back and just started working, doing a little here, doing a little there, making sure the land and everything was pretty and clean, cutting bushes. I told the mayor, I know that the city got tired of us calling because the last time we cut, I guarantee you it took about 5 trucks to cut all those limbs, but we went way back. The land goes out back a ways, and we wanted all that cleared out. And so we just went up there and we just went to work. And so I was just, we were just stunned. My wife had just got out of the hospital. Certainly, I want people that can pray, know to pray, continue to pray for her. She's still fighting a sickness. But it devastated her, and it devastated me, because we were under the impression that we could go ahead and do what we've been doing on the house.
Okay.
And so I would like some answers. I'd like to know,
Reverend Hayes,
Yes, sir.
I have Mr. Craig in the back of the room, and I think he has answers for you. So if you would allow him.
I believe also, Mr. Mayor, that you said he was supposed to contact me.
And he will speak to that as well.
All right.
Can we see the pictures?
All right.
Sir, can we see the pictures?
Reverend Hayes.
Sure.
Pass the pictures around.
Excuse me. Right here.
Well, you want to pass the pictures? You want to see the pictures?
Okay, Mr. Craig.
This is what it looked like before we got anything. This is what it looked like.
Good evening. I started this project with him over 2 years ago.
You tell me they painted it white there. We took this out. Those are relatives that came out to see the house. And this is another guy that put the top on the house and went out there.
Okay.
All right? Well, I started this process with him over 2 years ago, and he did come talk to me. I could not tell any work was done. But today I did some research, and there hasn't been power or water on the house since 2007. So when did your relatives die?
I'm not sure what year.
I checked with the court.
Was that because my wife and I took them in?
Thank you. Yes, sir. I talked to the courthouse today, and nothing has been through probate. So legally, if I can talk to ask Mr. Russian, the property owner is they're deceased. They never went through probate to get it changed, and the courthouse can't change the property into their name until it goes through probate. So they never did the proper channels. If they did, it would have been in their name, and they would have been notified of the certified letters.
When was it originally condemned?
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yes, sir. And I gave them time to fix it up, and I brought two of my operators here from Milam Construction that does the walkthrough, and they can tell you what they found.
Was there an extension offered to Mr.?
I gave him 2 years. I thought that was long enough. I mean, the first thing I tell people to do is to get an electrician, and because they have to be rewired. And not just a new meter loop, they have to be totally rewired after they're condemned, because that had like an old 60-amp can, which you can see in the thing. And what I mean by that, it's just a round can without a breaker.
Ungrounded system.
Ungrounded system. City code now says it has to be a 3-wire system with a switch to turn all the power off, a breaker on the outside, so if the house catches a fire department can just throw a switch and kill the power. So,
any taxes arrears?
No, they've been paying the taxes, but it's still in the deceased name, so it never went through probate. There's nothing filed in probate on it.
City attorney has a question for you.
Mr. Craig, were there any building permits issued for this property after it was condemned?
No, sir. Nothing has been. No, sir.
Thank you.
The main thing would have been a plumbing permit and rewiring permit. A roof doesn't require. Thank you. But if I could ask Mr. Mason there a few questions, since he did the walkthrough, he may be able to answer a few things too. Because part of the floor was missing, and he doesn't believe that it was a new roof.
My advice would be that'd be up to the council, but
yes.
That's.
Would you like to hear from the contractor?
It's done now. I mean, you can't unring the bell. Apparently, Mr. Craig has went through the proper procedure, so.
Because by state statute, I have to send it to names on the, and as most people know, when somebody deceases, you're supposed to go through probate to change the property titles and all that, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Ray.
But the way I understand it, Reverend Hayes said it was communicating regularly.
We did 2 years ago. 2 years ago, no product.
I went up there told him we couldn't get it. I said, but we're still working on the house. He said, do we need to know anything that's in the letter? See, and I told the mayor, we contacted more than one electrician. I don't know why they didn't come back. Matter of fact, I couldn't even get an answer to my call. I don't know why. But we did ask him, is there anything in the letter that we need to know? If I'd have knew any time that wife needs to change the name or do whatever, we would have done it because we wanted to be a memorial for her mother. Whatever needed to be done, if I'd have knew it, I didn't know it. And I don't think we should be penalized when you ask the man that do know, and then they don't tell you. Why should we be penalized?
Sounds like you should have talked to an attorney after they deceased to get the paperwork in order.
Has there been any services in the building, sir?
Been any services?
Yeah.
Well, the flooring part of it.
No, there had not been because we didn't get through working on it. The first part, we wanted to make sure that the top wasn't leaking in there. And so we took the roll roofing off. We had a shingle roof put on. You can see pictures with a roll roofing, and then you can see pictures with shingles. And there's me and a young man that's standing there that put the top on. So regardless of what they think, I know what happened. And you can see roll roofing on there, and you don't, you can't change roll roofing from shingles. That's a definite. Somebody didn't see what we were doing. If anybody went back over there, they seen that some work was being done. Not only did we build a new deck and a new porch, and also the young man that did my porch and the deck, I could have brought him today. Because he would tell you that he built the porch so that we could, go in, fix up, tear down. We wasn't fitting to build on anything. And I didn't think you need a permit to tear out some walls in your house, not to build anything, but just to tear something out.
This gentleman, is he a licensed contractor?
Licensed contractor?
Yes.
I don't know.
What's his name, and I'll be happy to look it up tomorrow.
I just know he did the work. Do you have to have a licensed contractor to redo your porch?
Over $3,500, and which the house would have costed over $3,500 to fix. They have to be an architect.
To me, it wasn't.
But excuse me, brother. But seem like you should have had this conversation, Kirby, with him. Because what he's saying sounds like he said that he didn't know.
I told you to fix it up. I told you to rewire it.
You told us to go ahead and continue to work.
And you didn't continue to work. 2 years later, the house would have been in livable condition.
I didn't know we had a time limit.
So you might be excused.
We had a time limit on how long it should take us to get it to where they would be, that it would be acceptable to them. I didn't know we had a time limit. If I knew we had a time limit, then we'd have did something differently. I had no idea we had a time limit.
What kind of remedy are you seeking, sir?
My wife really still wants a house there because that's what she wanted. It was like they were mothers. We wanted to put a house there with prayer. That's all she wanted. Everybody in Morningstar knows that that's what she did. That was her forte. And I think some kind of conversation needs to be done to help us.
Why don't you make a list and put a number on it and submit it to our city attorney and we can consider it.
All right, we'll do that.
And it ain't like we ain't had this problem before.
Right.
And that's what I be saying. We need a better system. And just like Mr. Harris asked Mr. Kirby about the condemnation list just a while ago, was anybody living in these houses? Because we done tore houses down before Mayor Choke was on board, that people lived in the house.
It did not have utilities.
Yeah, but
by the city ordinance.
But we have tore houses down. We done had the same problem. People come to us about their houses being torn down. I mean, why make it a big deal when it's easy to address by just communicating?
But by city ordinance, you have to have electricity.
I understand that.
How are they living in a house without electricity?
I understand
by the city ordinance?
I understand that, but I'm just saying. He said y'all was already communicating, Kirby. That's all he said. Just keep communicating.
To fix it 2 years ago. How long does it take?
Man, look here. When we first started, can I just say something, Mayor? Can I finish talking? When we first started this program, it was a 3-phase program. It was to identify houses that could be rehabbed, identify houses that need to be torn down, and then if they need to be torn down, created some type of green space. Well, we got to tore down the houses part down because we was tearing them down left and right, even when Mr. Hash was the mayor. So this ain't like this done happened just once before, Kirby, but sometimes we have to communicate with people who don't know the process.
Mr. McGee, you have voted for every resident.
But I don't really, that's what I'm saying. I voted for it. I don't have a problem voting for it, but you are the one that exercises it, and you are the one that's out there on the daily operation, and you face to face with these people. I'm not until after this happened, and then Reverend Hayes called me. And I think he got a right to voice his opinion. Whether you agree with it, whether I voted for it, it don't matter. We are human beings where we're supposed to be known that we're able to reason and have the discussion with each other and work things out. Just because we got power don't mean we always need to exercise it. We have to have some people skills to go along with the power.
Okay.
I vote for a lot of things, but I'm not out there daily making sure they get done right. I trust the people that I give the power to exercise that, to make sure our citizens be treated right. And every time something go wrong, don't make the citizens look like they're lying. Because mistakes happen. Okay, we had a mistake. Okay, mistakes happen. You ain't always got to be right. You ain't always got to be wrong. It's just a mistake.
Mayor.
I'm going to make a statement first. I'll come right back to you, Ms. Hammond. Bishop Hayes, Councilman Member Frank Hash has given you the opportunity to put some numbers together. Please direct them to our city attorney, and we'll follow up with you, sir. Thank you. Okay, I've got one question. This is not for you, sir. This is for Mr. Craig. Back up the microphone. I want this on.
Yes, sir.
In all matters with condemnations,
Yes, sir.
do you follow the regulations as prescribed
By state statute.
without variance?
By state statute.
Okay.
Because we've been in court several times, and we've already been to federal court in St. Louis, and we've always won because we go straight by state statute, step
So
by
you're
step.
you're following the letter of the law as prescribed.
You're supposed to contact the person home there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hammond.
You said there's two men out here.
Yes, sir. Michael and Jody at the back, they're two of the operators from Island. They've been at every house I've torn down lately.
Okay, so
They do a walkthrough. I'm not there the day of demolition usually. I'll give them a list of houses, text it to them, whatever, and they just go around and they have to do it because we have found squatters in there.
oh, I know.
So they have to do a walkthrough before they tear them down.
And when was this house torn down?
2 weeks ago,
Okay,
roughly.
so it's fresh in their memory. Can they state what they saw?
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
they mind coming up here and stating what they saw when they did the
Jody's
walkthrough?
the supervisor, so.
Could we just get them to do a written statement, and I'll get that out to everybody?
That's fine. I'm just curious. Okay.
Jody, would
That
you
was
mind
all.
doing a written statement? Okay. If you would get that done, get it to Mr. Craig. Mr. Craig will get it to me, and then I will disseminate to all parties. Is there anything else to come before this board?
I just want to throw this out here. It's never got to be a right or wrong with anything. It ain't got nobody got to be lying or telling the truth. Sometimes it just could be a misunderstanding. I done been subpoenaed to 3 depositions with Kirby over the years I've been here. I done had to go to court. I done been subpoenaed. I done had to do depositions about. I done that. Now I don't know if anybody else had to do that, but I think it still we need to have a check and balance, a better system, so we can educate our people, not the people who know the process, but the people who trying to get stuff done. We got to be patient with them to teach them the process of how to do city business or municipalities or go through. They don't know state regulations. They don't know city ordinances. We do, but they don't. So we ought to be patient enough and not make fun of people because they don't know.
Okay.
And some of us ain't got people skills, so you can take it however you want it.
Mr. Hash.
Sir, one item we talked about last time was these scooters downtown. And my concern was the safety about kids up there and whatnot. And you sent me what you said you was going to send me, and that was good. But that act just recognized electric scooters as an authorized thing. That act also gave local authorities to establish parameters. I think we really ought to consider some parameters about where these things are operated and so forth.
Yeah. Answer
Sure,
that?
Sure.
When they started showing up here several years ago, there was discussion amongst the council at that point in time, and for reasons unbeknownst to me, that conversation was squelched. And I do not disagree with you, sir. There are many cities in this in this state that have additional ordinances dealing with those scooters, and I, like you, agree to the fact that it's just a matter of time, not if, but a matter of time till some young person that probably shouldn't be on the scooter gets hurt or possibly even worse. So, if this body would like to take on the research, and you know, the ordinances have to come from suggestions from the council. I think we need to go ahead and reach out. I will have no problem at all reaching out to the municipal league and see if we can't get some of our cities, comparable cities, to send us what they're doing, and then we'll disseminate that, and then let you guys work on it.
I think, do we have anybody from downtown, what is it called, Main Street? Because that's where it's going to happen, right down Main.
Beth, are you in the house? I thought I saw you come in.
I think we need to ask the business people how they feel about the thing down there and whether the benefits. Could you check around how people are feeling about this, and we'll work it sometime in the future, possibly?
I can. I do know that when it began, like what Mayor Choate was talking about, is a different kind of scooter now. For the most part, these are road scooters that he rents more often than the ones that were being used on the sidewalk.
He's got both kinds down there.
Only got one kind. I'm just saying.
Huh?
Only got one. I'm the owner. Only got one.
There's two separate kinds of machines down there. One
kind. I haven't used the other one about a year and a half.
Pardon?
It's only one kind down there. I haven't used the other one about a year and a half.
Okay, so you're stating you're not using goats or birds or anything like that?
I have them. I just haven't put them out in about a year and a half.
Okay. Well, we'll move forward.
Well, why I was particularly concerned, the police chief didn't think we had any leverage over how those things are operated down there, and we certainly do.
No,
they can go anywhere about it. Can go.
They had to have a certain age driver's license to be able to ride.
Yes, they do. They certainly do in this act.
So you see them all up and down.
They around with their parents.
Sir?
There's no kids riding them. I take a waiver and they show the ID when they ride.
Sir, I'm not against your business or nothing like that. I'm just, what I see is young people are going to get hurt down there. You go down there at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and they're zipping everywhere on the sidewalks.
That's not true. They're not riding on the sidewalk.
Well, I've been there, sir. Anyway.
We ain't had that thing people not riding on the sidewalk on the scooters. I haven't used the small scooters in about a year and a half.
Okay.
Well, anyway, Mayor, I think we got a problem. I think we ought to look at the city, the business owners down there. If we need to put some limitations or restrictions on it before someone gets killed.
Okay. Anything else to come before the body? I'll entertain a motion to.
So move.
Thank you very much, sir.
You've been listening to live coverage of the El Dorado City Council meeting from El Dorado, Arkansas. The City Council meets every second Thursday of each month. That concludes tonight's broadcast. If you missed any of the meeting, you can listen online to the broadcast of the entire meeting tomorrow on accessarkla.com. This has been a service and production of New Walmart Broadcasting. Have a great night, El Dorado. We now return to our regular programming on 1400 AM and 94.3 FM, KELD, El Dorado.